The Familiar Volume 1 by Mark Z. Danielewski. This is a work of fiction. Any names, characters, places, and incidents are either the product of multiversal alterations too infinitesimal and costly to credibly account for here, or the result of the author's imagination and so used fictitiously. Because fiction's province is the imagination and thus concerned with the argument of empathy over presentation, any resemblance to actual persons living or dead, events, locales, not matter how familiar, should be considered coincidences born out of the reader's very keen and original mind. Xanthier. The Wizard, Cass. Chapters read by Anressa. Anwar. Oscar. Isandorno. Chapters read by Nate Jackson. Luther. Chapters read by Alex Edwards. Astaire. Jing Jing. Schnork. Read by Summer McGaha. Narcon 3. Narcon 9. Narcon 27. Voiced by Summer, with effects added using Corel Video Studio, Dalek and Voice 6 from https://lingojam.com/robotvoicechanger. All AI Russian, or AI Cantonese, supplied by Microsoft Bing's search engine with Yandex Translate, used to identify Russian and Cantonese words. Microsoft Word Read Aloud female voice was implemented both to read the intro and these credits. Thank you to Mikey Lugo for showing me how to use StreamYard to make the Familiar Volume 1 reading sessions possible. Thank you to everyone who had any involvement in this fan reading project. Thank you for everyone who watched or listened to this at any point, live, after, or in the future. You, listening now, thank you. For enlightening, profound, analytical discussion on all things the familiar, please check out The Familiar, Volumes 1 to 5, Reading Club Facebook, where I became acquainted online with many amazing fellow readers as well as with Nate Jackson and Alex Edwards who have participated in the Familiar fan reading sessions, and please check out the server of Leaves Discord. https://discord.gg/jpgp4jdp to discuss the Familiar series, as well as other Mark Z. Danielewski books, where I became acquainted online with Anressa, who participated in the Familiar reading sessions. And of course, please check out the Familiar book series written by Mark Z. Danielewski, without whom none of this would be possible. Thank you, Mark Z. Danielewski. A Circle Round A Stone production. No cats, panthers, or owls were harmed during the making of The Familiar, the novel. The same, however, might not be said of editors, publishers, proofreaders, publicists, and the various bravehearts who faced the many nightmares always born of so many moving parts. More than parts, more than just moving. Coming soon. The Familiar 2. Please note, the following story at the end of Volume 1 may not be suitable for all listeners. Listener discretion advised.
Momentarily stutter all news of these fleeing cottontails. Oriah, though, never deviates from the squirming thing below. Served up by this blurring world, it stops. Or maybe it fell over, this dark thing still more. Paws then at the ground, big as a rabbit, bigger, as a skunk. But is it a skunk? Smaller. Nothing white here, only mottled black, with patches inkier than black, followed by a whispering little tail, like a snake, only bleat, bleat, bleat. Meat for days is all Oriah knows, meat for days for her little ones, for her mate if he ever returns, but he will never return. He left moons ago. His talons extend through the air, great wings cutting apart the wind, finding purchase, familiar shock waves rattling into her, driving her laterally too, even as her legs keep extending downward, driving down, talons wide now as any skunk or rabbit. The same is true above her, just above her. Oriah doesn't need to look, won't look, knows another pair of talons, razors, after her. After Mantle and Nape, driving hard to knock her down, blunt her into the flat, fast-rising ground, sees then the prey for himself, except snap, Oriah has her great wings snapping wide then, at once the wind of her fall hurling her upward, bill to crown driving skyward. Of course the snake, threshing, cannot know it yet its prey is lost. The coyote, though, and it is a coyote emerging from the tree line, stops in the grass, dumbfounded at the sight of that seizure, looking away just as fast, looking for the rabbits now, skulking off. Only Oriah sees the coyote turn then and leap, snapping at her attacker, an eagle, male. Only Oriah sees the snake uncoil then, bringing down these following wings. Instances she knows as clearly as summer lightning. She has lived her long life with such flashes of lightning which her long life has taught her to disbelieve. They are what never happens in this world. The thing swarming in her talons is real, though, warm and heavy, and even these 100 feet up only slightly confused. Oriah feels its heart beating. And as if to answer, Oriah beats her wings faster, too. Of course, she could kill it now, break it to death. Beak it farther away from the clearing, rising still higher above, sees her mistake. This is no male eagle, but another great horned owl, like herself. Likely a mother, too, and looking for prey to bring back to her fledglings. Perhaps that's why she keeps up this pursuit, flying still harder, with altitude her advantage, a wide wheel closing the distance, while still cuts loose of her than Oriah, much bigger, beautiful too, and more powerful, enormous wings shadowing the land. And without meat clutched beneath her downy belly, she flies faster, much faster. Oriah knows she will have to dive again, only her attacker dives first. Diving away, Oriah doesn't understand, those beautiful, enormous wings falling away. Oriah only hears the crack an instant later, and by then she's diving too. Instinct evades the echoing crack, following her attacker's spiral toward the high reeds. Except when Oriah at last levels out, her attacker continues to plummet. The way the great wings twist then and go askew as they flit twice across the ground before lodging in a thicket of thorns sickens Oriah. Even her talons loosen, but a small heart still beats there, almost as fast enough to burst.